Hello, folks. Welcome to my YouTube channel. One thing that keeps us in an abusive relationship, folks, for the most part, is the fear of what the narcissist is going to do. Hang on a minute. I'm going to turn my TV down, folks. We're going to talk about fear and the silent treatment of the narcissist, too. The narcissist keeps you hooked into the pattern with them because they use the threats to you, they're going to do something to you if you leave the relationship, or, you know, um, and they will get violent and things like that to try to scare you too. And that's just their control mechanism, folks. That's what they use to try to control their other other partner. This is male or female, either one, male or female narcissist, either one, folks. And they make threats to you and things like that. If you leave, I'm gonna do something to you, like real bad, to hurt you, or maybe even cause you to lose your life or whatever, folks. And that's the kind of threats that a narcissist uses. But that's just a scare tactic to keep you into the relationship with them, folks. And also, they use the silent treatment. And how you can deal with the silent treatment, folks, is don't participate in it. Just let them be quiet as they want to be. Because 9 chances out of 10, they turn, they'll try to use that silent treatment by trying to make you feel like that you've done something wrong, even though you haven't. And what you do is you just walk around and do what you got to do, like if you're doing housework or something like that, and the narcissist is just sitting there. You don't say anything, you just go about your business and do things like you normally do. And don't ask them if you've done something wrong or anything like that, folks. Just let them do that. But like if you got to go to town and the narcissist is sitting there being in the silent treatment, don't even pay no attention to how they're doing. Because that's the way my first husband would do. Sometimes he'd sit there in the silent treatment. And so, um, but that's how you deal with it, folks. You remain neutral from the silent treatment and just don't pay no attention to it or let it bother you, because it's not about you, it's about the narcissist and their control mechanisms that they use on you. And the one where they make you fear them, is they may not exactly hit you, but they'll raise their hand up at you like this, like they're gonna hit you or something like that. And that's just the way they do to try to make you scared of them. And if you just let them be their self and don't make no comments back to them or anything like that, folks, uh, it will, it may calm them down, because you know that if you retaliate with a narcissist, it could get kind of dangerous for you, so you want to try to remain neutral as you can. It's kind of like that narcissist is throwing a fit, so to speak, like a little child, and they want you to respond to it, and as soon as you respond to it, it's probably going to turn into a abusive situation. But to help you folks to not participate in it, is just let them be their self and you go about what you want to do. And if you do that, folks, 9 chances out of 10, it could keep you from suffering from a mental situation over all this stuff with the narcissist, because you got to remember that's how the pattern goes with them. And no matter how much you try to please them, it's not going to work with them anyway. So if you feel like that you got to stay with the narcissist and you're wanting to try to keep the peace, that's the best thing to do, is just go about your business and do what you do normally, and just make the narcissist think that you're busy and stuff and you're just letting him throw his little tantrum. Because I think that silent treatment goes right hand in hand with the fear tactic. Because if they try the fear tactic on you and that doesn't work, then they revert to the silent treatment. And that silent treatment never did work with me, folks, because I was always happy when they remained silent, and that way I wouldn't have to hear them throwing a fit of however they were, you know, because I knew that they was the one that had the problem and I didn't. So that's how I dealt with that. The silent treatment never did bother me that much. Not really. I just let them be who they were, and I was like I was. You know, because for some apparent reason, even though I didn't know what narcissism was, I just knew that I grew up in a mild atmosphere and I had love and empathy and went to church with my grandma and stuff ever since I was a kid and things like that, folks, and taught right from wrong and taught manners and things like that and brought up right, so I knew that it wasn't about me, folks. So I guess that's what kept me from being worse than I was, because of the way I was brought up. My daddy never really talked to me much about narcissism or anything like that. He just always told me that a man put his hand on a woman, that he didn't love his wife, and that she shouldn't be with him because she deserved better, you know. But he never said anything about narcissism or anything, folks. People never really talked about it back in the day when I was married to my first husband. You know, they never had shelters or anything like that for women or anything like that yet. But most of the time, if you was being abused back in them days, it was always swept underneath the rug. And nowadays, I'm not too sure that it ain't still being that way, because sometimes the law don't always protect the abused women. In my opinion, I mean, I think they're trying to get it that way, but they're just now starting, because sometimes when they are trying to do that kind of stuff, folks, they're still trying to side with the narcissist on a lot of stuff. And I think that if they would have started out back then in my day of checking out the narcissist behavior before they gave custody to the children, things would have been a lot better for the children and stuff too, folks. Because they didn't realize back then that if they let the narcissist have custody of the child and things like that, folks, that there was a good chance that the children would be trapped into an abusive relationship and maybe possibly I'm not going to say all the time, but possibly turn out to be narcissists themselves, folks. And that's what I think is sad. I think there's a lot of children that has been placed with the narcissist unfairly, and that the narcissist has used the children as a tool to turn the children against the other parent, and then the child gets to the point where they say they don't want to see their other parent and stuff, folks, because the narcissist has already brainwashed them to the point where the children doesn't want to see the other parent, the loving parent. And then the children miss out on the love and nurture that they deserve, folks. And that's what happened to my sons, folks. They never experienced having a mother to where they could be loved and nurtured. And what I think's unfair is my ex-husband, my first husband, had a mother of his own and loved going over to visit her and things like that. Well, my sons never got that opportunity because their narcissistic daddy stole that opportunity from them. And so they were pretty much cheated out of a mother, you know, all because the narcissist got mad because he lost control and everything, and so he decided that he was going to use the children as a tool. But them narcissists, they use all different kinds of things against you to try to cause you to be afraid of them. And yes, back then I was afraid of the kids' as daddy because I didn't know what he was capable of. Because I left the state one time with my one of my the son that's gone now, the one that got hit by the train. I left the state with him when he was a little tiny baby, and my ex came up there and acted real nice towards my mom and me too. And then when he got me out on the interstate with us heading back towards the house, he made a bunch of threats to me and told me that he was going to do something to me if I ever tried to take his kids out of the state again. Because at that point, folks, I was ready to pack up my children and leave. And I was trying to figure out a way out of that situation with my children because I knew that that pattern wasn't any good and he wasn't spending no time much with the kids anyway. And I wanted my kids to have a nice life and everything, but he made it so dangerous for me and stuff we couldn't do that, folks. But that's how they would use fear tactics with you to try to keep you into the relationship and make you scared even though you did get out. I didn't know what he was going to do even when I did get out, folks. I went to my grandparents and stayed, and he kept running up and down the road and making threats towards my grandma and grandpa, you know. That's where I stayed at. And I was still a pretty young kid myself, folks, not knowing exactly what to do, you know, about my kids or anything like that at that time. I think I was about 19 or 20 years old at that time. And yes, I didn't know what to think about that pattern that he was trying to put off on me. And he just made the kids think that I was this big monster, you know. And everything that he told the kids is all the opposite of who I really am. He even told his new supply that he married that, well, she ain't so new now because he's been married to her for a long time. And I don't know how she puts up with him, but I guess maybe she's maybe that's all she ever knew was living in abuse, and she thinks it's not abuse. I don't know. But anyway, folks, I wanted to get on here and make a video for you. Thank you for joining my YouTube channel. You have a nice night and a blessed night too. You got this, folks. You're awesome. Bye bye.